Welcome guys. My name is Chris Chana, and I'm your host of Senior Source TV. And today we have Suzanne, who's the owner of Discount Med Direct, and Suzanne Van Dress.
Yep.
I said it right. I feel like I feel like I need to put a better accent on that, you know. So, but anyways, super excited to have Suzanne. Suzanne is the owner of Discount Med Direct here in town. So it's really interesting, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about that. But how you can save up to 80% on your prescription medications. So super excited to kind of like learn more about that and just some of the other cool stuff that they're doing. But I just want to give a shout out and thank Suzanne for being a sponsor for our upcoming event. So thank you for sponsoring the Senior Care Conference. So for those that aren't aware, make sure you join us if you haven't already. Become a vendor, or if you know someone that's caring for a loved one, their mom, dad, spouse. Make sure that you guys sign up, or at least learn about what the event's about, and find out the different services and stuff that we have to offer. So just want to give a shout out. Thank you, Suzanne. Appreciate you helping us out and being a sponsor, and thank you for joining us today. So
thank you for having me.
So I wanted to kind of dive a little bit deeper into this 80% of saving 80% on medications, because I think that's something that when we think about, like, in today's world, we think about, like, how expensive medications, I mean, just healthcare in general,
Yeah.
Like I know, like, when I was going through this healthcare planning, or just trying to choose a insurance plan this year, it was crazy because I felt like the deductibles were high. It was super expensive on a monthly basis. It just seemed like it didn't cover anything. It really felt like I was purchasing catastrophic insurance, but I was paying for like a premium for this product. And I'm like, gosh, and I know you probably work a little bit more in kind of like the senior space, so it might be a little bit different because of the Medicare plans. But either way, there's folks that are having to spend money on medications, and it is not cheap. It's expensive. So, tell us a little bit more about, like, how can you actually help someone, or is this real? Can you really save people 80% on their medications? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, we definitely can. What we do is we help people import drugs from other places. Now, some of our medications do come from the U.S., but a lot of them come from other countries. And the reason that we can do this is that the United States and New Zealand are the only two countries in the world that don't have price controls on their medications.
Wow.
So every other country, when a new medication comes out, the government sets the price.
Gotcha.
Here in the United States, the drug company sets the price.
Gotcha.
So obviously the government is a lot more interested in helping their
people,
their people of their natives, where the drug companies, they're just about making money.
Wow.
They have to please their stockholders who want them to make as much money as possible. So I actually had a drug rep in one time, a retired drug rep, and he told me that the drug companies, when they come out with a new drug, whatever their first run is going to be, 10 million pills or whatever, they put in all the research and development costs, all the marketing costs, all the sales rep salaries, and then they put in so much for just lawsuits.
Right.
So that all goes into the first batch of whatever medication that they're making.
Sure.
So it might be billions of dollars, and so then the pills end up at $400 a pill.
Wow, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
And
so
that,
like now, our medications, are they manufactured in other areas? Like are we only, like, are they primarily made or manufactured, or maybe the experimentation of new medications, are they made primarily in America? Or?
well, the research and development is done in
Yeah.
the United States. Very few medications are actually manufactured here.
Okay.
So like Eliquis, which is a big heart medication.
Right.
It is actually, until just recently, was only manufactured in Turkey. That was the only place and its only brand was available. They only made it in Turkey. They didn't make it anywhere else. So no matter where you ordered it from, whether you got it at your local town drugstore or a chain drugstore, or you got it from us, it was all coming from Turkey.
Wow.
Now, CVS and Walgreens and those people won't
Sure.
tell you that,
Right,
because
right.
say it's coming from the U.S., but it was manufactured in Turkey. So Turkey, India, there's a couple of other places that have some manufacturing plants that manufacture all of the drugs for the United States.
Wow.
So I think we're a little bit egotistical here in the United
Right.
States, thinking that we buy all of our clothes and stuff from
Right.
China and Mexico, but we're not going to buy any of our drugs. We make
Right.
all those here, right? Because
Sure.
we put those in our body.
Yeah. Right.
But we also know that, like, meat comes from China,
Well, yeah, and it's funny because, like, I never, like, I think sometimes, like, when we purchase, when we purchase things in America, like when we purchase like I said, whether it's at the food store or the drugstore, like we just assume that it's like from some safe manufacturing place like down the street, we don't realize that it could be in Mexico, it could be in China, that these medications this food is coming from, and who knows even like if we had steak last night, like who knows where that steak, where did that cow
where was that cow
from?
raised?
Yeah, I'm thinking he's in Oklahoma having fun. Like
you think he's out in the middle of Arcadia, right?
Oh yeah, sure, exactly.
From Arcadia.
Exactly. I went out there yesterday. I was like, wow. I mean, yeah, I feel like I was like, okay, we went to a health fair or whatever, and Amy's like, text me the address, and I'm like in the middle of nowhere, and I feel like I've been in the middle of nowhere for like 15 minutes, and then it's like 3 more miles. I'm like, aren't we on the East Coast by now? Like, I don't understand.
I think we live here on the coast, and we think all of Florida is built up like that. But then you drive in, like you said, 15 minutes inland, and there's nothing. It's farmland out there. It's orange trees and cows.
Right.
I remember years ago I worked in a nail salon, and one of my customers came in, and she was actually she had cattle and orange trees. And she said, when we buy a piece of land, if we can't grow orange trees on it, we put cattle on it.
Gotcha. Wow.
So
wow. Yeah.
There's a whole lot of that out in the middle of the state.
Right.
Florida is actually I don't know if it still is, but used to be one of the top cattle producing states in the country.
That's crazy. Wow. I went to River Ranch one time, and on my way to River Ranch, I came across the Florida tropical, what do you call it, the orange, grove, whatever. But it was this massive plant, and like
it's like in the middle of nowhere.
Right. And I was like, and I think it was Florida Natural or something. But like it's like the OJ I've always purchased at the store. I was like, oh wow, like this actually comes from Florida. Like this is here. Like that's awesome.
That's the one thing you can get.
I know, right? Florida. Yeah, exactly. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, here if we may face this way a little bit too, because I want to get all right. There we go. Perfect. So yeah. So tell us a little bit about the on when it comes to medications, or when it comes to like a story about like how you've been able to actually save someone. Because knowing that medications are maybe coming from other areas and stuff like that. Like, do you have any examples of like how you've been able to actually save people money, and maybe with what types of medications it's been?
Sure. Well, my favorite thing to say is always that number 1 and number 2 every month are Viagra and Cialis, because it's the happy pill. Right. We call it the happy pill. So that's number 1 and number 2 every month. But that's not where we will do that all day, because that's what keeps us in business. But we like it when we can get someone that we can really help. One of my favorite stories is I had a lady that she was spending about $700 a month on 2 heart medications. Okay. And I was able to...
$700, and she's got Medicare.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because that's what the copay is on them. They're like $400 a month, $300 to $400 a month for some of the heart medications.
Wow.
And I mean, that's across the board. You can get them check any store, and that's like the cheapest.
Yeah.
So I felt bad because I was still charging her $700, but she was getting a 90-day supply.
Gotcha. Oh wow.
So
gotcha. Yeah. So really, it's almost a third of the cost then.
Yeah,
right?
$1,400 every 2 months or every 3 months.
Yeah.
So for some people, that is the difference between eating and not eating.
Actually, it'd be 20.
Well, she still had to pay $700, so it would have been like $2,100.
Oh, so she's saving $1,400.
She's saving $1,400.
Yeah. Wow. That's huge. That is huge. Yeah.
Well, and even on the Viagra and Cialis, now it is generic here, so you can get some better deals now in the United States, even at your local pharmacies. But Viagra brand is $70 a pill.
Wow. That's insane.
For those guys out there who want to take their wife to dinner and have a pill, that's a lot of money, So if you get it from
we can't have dessert tonight.
Right. You can have a pill or you can have dinner. Your choice.
And cut out the wine or whatever.
So, we can get it. Well, now we're doing the generic for $250 a pill.
Gotcha.
So the difference between $250 and $70 for a night of fun, let's face it, if you could pay $250, you could buy your wife a $250 bottle of wine or a $70 bottle of wine, and she's just as happy with either one. It's kind of a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's too funny. That always cracks me up every time I've ever heard them. I'm like, wow, that's hilarious. That's your number 1 and number 2 sales. But how does that when it comes to the process of going through a company like yours? Like, so like if I'm going to CVS right now and I'm getting my medications from them, you know, like what's the process of switching over to a company like yourself?
Well, we do have to have a new prescription because we don't have a pharmacist on staff. That's how we keep our prices down, is we don't have to pay a pharmacist.
Right.
We use a wholesale pharmacy. We have one out of New Zealand, and then we have a couple that are based out of here in the United States. So we have to have a new prescription. So we have to have a prescription from your doctor.
So if I got that prescription from the doctor, I would just come in to you guys and hand that prescription to you?
Yep.
Okay.
You can either bring it in, you can have the doctor fax it to us.
Right.
We don't do any e-scripting, which kind of makes it a little bit difficult, but most of the doctors are willing to work with you. Just get the prescription. You can bring it to us. You can fax it to us. You can have the doctor fax it to us. You can email it to us, or you can put it in the good old-fashioned mail.
Right.
And we do have some people that do that. And then once we have the prescription, we basically just process the order. It's a few simple questions, just like you would have at a regular pharmacy. You know, do you take any other medications?
Right.
Height, weight, that kind
Sure.
of thing. Method of payment, you give us a method of payment. You can pay cash, you can pay with a check, you can pay with a credit card.
Right.
We do all of that. And then we process it. So basically, we send it off with the prescription to our wholesale pharmacist. They process it, and then it's mailed directly to the customer's house.
Awesome. So then they don't necessarily have to come back into the store after that then?
They actually don't have to come into the store at all if they don't
Right,
want to.
right.
We can do it all by phone, fax, and mail. So
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, so really, like in a way, like you're kind of like a concierge, or like, or almost like helping to help walk families through this process, or walk people through this process, but kind of like hold their hand until we get them set up on it, I guess then, right?
yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So so I mean, tell us, I mean, like what's the typical scenario when it comes to, the amount of money that you can save people? I know you say 80% is like maybe what you can save up to people, but like, is there a wide range of like the cost of medications and stuff like that? Or are there medications that might be high for some people that are ones that you come across a lot that you can help people out with, or?
Well, obviously, like I said, any of the heart medications, a lot of those we can really save people money on. Eliquis, Pradaxa, Renexa, Multac, all of those we get really good prices on. Obviously, I said Viagra and Cialis. We get good prices on those still. We also get like inhalers. Anybody that uses inhalers, especially some of the newer ones that are like $300 per inhaler.
Wow. Yeah.
We can get them for around $100.
Sure.
So, there's just a lot of variants. And then there's some of the more common like cholesterol medicines and that kind of stuff we really can't save people money on.
Right.
And they're really better off going to their local pharmacy, and we'll tell them that.
Right.
We don't have a problem with people calling in and just saying, hey, what can you get this one for?
Sure.
And if they're paying $20 and it's going to cost them $50 with us, we're like, stay where you are.
Right.
We're not about you bringing all your prescriptions to us or high pressuring you to get everything. We just want to help people when we can.
Sure. And now, so then, would you say like as far as is there a way for you to like basically help someone understand how much you can save them ahead of time? So like, could you take someone's like entire list of medications and kind of go through that with them and say like, how much can I save you on this, this, and this, and maybe order these 3 through me, and then yeah.
Sure, yeah, we do that, especially when we get to like open enrollment for Medicare.
Right.
A lot of people are shopping their insurance plans, just like you were talking about.
Yeah.
And so they'll call us and they'll say, okay, what are the prices on these medications? Or they might drop off a whole list or email us a whole list, and we'll look them all up and tell them, and then they can kind of compare them with the different plans that they're looking at. And sometimes, if we've got seniors listening and they know what the donut hole is, we can pull out one medication like an Eliquis or a Pradaxa and keep all their other meds from going into that donut hole.
Right.
And they're still paying less for that medication, or maybe even the same amount if it turned out that way. But then they don't put any of their other medications into the donut hole.
Sure.
So it saves them money because they get all the rest of those medications paid for the entire year.
Gotcha.
And they just have to pay for that one.
Right. So yes, I mean, so the thing is too is, that's a good point, because a lot of times, people might be that have never experienced the donut hole and maybe get on a new medication, all of a sudden experience it. It could be like, well, that sucks. Like, how do I avoid that from happening,
Well, or what do I do now that I'm in the donut hole and I have to buy Eliquis and it's $3,000?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So we do, we will even help people just when they're in the donut hole. If they, if they have run into that situation where they hit, July and all of a sudden their medications are $3,000, just call us. We can help you until you get past that donut hole.
Sure.
And just do it for a few months out of the year. We have people that we do that for too. and we're happy to do that until you can get to the next year and maybe get a better plan
Right.
or get a better option.
Yeah, absolutely. What then I guess that being said, I mean, is it one of these things that do you have to necessarily be a senior like for you to help them? I mean, could you help someone like my age with medications
Sure.
if they're expensive or?
Yeah, no, we don't have any age limits or any requirements because we don't process in the insurance. So
Right.
we can help anybody. So if you had, a medication that was expensive, say somebody that's young that has a heart condition
Sure.
and needs to have one of those heart medications, we can help them just as easily. Or somebody that doesn't have insurance that might need help paying for a more
true.
expensive medication.
Yeah.
Our country's trying to get everybody insurance, but I still know there's people like I don't have prescription coverage with
Yeah.
my insurance plan.
Right.
So if I had an expensive medication, I mean, I order them anyways.
Right.
But if I had, if I had something that was more expensive, I'd certainly be looking for an alternative.
Sure. So, and I think in the past too, like I even had times where it was like less expensive for me to just use a good RX card than it was to actually like, use my insurance.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, well, how does this even make sense? I don't understand. Like, I got insurance, it's got coverage, but it's actually less expensive to just use a good RX discount. You know? So.
And I had a lady the other day that she called me and the medication that she wanted, I wasn't able to get. It just wasn't available to us. So I looked it up on GoodRx for her. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you can get this at Publix for, $90. And wherever she had been going, it was $600.
Wow, that's crazy.
And so I'm like, go into Publix and
Yeah.
tell them you want the GoodRx price.
Right, exactly.
So, I mean, I do things like that too if I can't help them.
Sure.
Like,
Because at the end of the day, that's what's cool about it. You're really just trying to help this person, like save them as much money as possible. And so, like at the end of the day, it's not about necessarily getting everyone to convert all their stuff over to you, maybe, but it's more about just trying to help them with the ones that are causing them, financial strain.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and even like metformin, which is a diabetic medication, you can get it for free at Publix. I can sell it to you. It's not that expensive, but why wouldn't you just go get it for free?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So if somebody calls me, I'm like, I'll give you a price, but you can get that for free at Publix, right? Just go to Publix.
Right,
So-
exactly. No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
And so we do that kind of stuff too, just because it's better for the person.
Sure.
I had somebody that I met through one of the networking groups, and she emailed me about some of her father-in-law's medications, and I'm like, I went to GoodRx and said, okay, you get this one for $17 at Target and this one for,
Right.
$20
Yeah.
at Publix. And she's like, oh my God, thank you so much.
Right.
Because she just didn't know.
Sure.
She didn't know where to look. And
Sure.
I-
In a sense, like you're almost like you're like a financial planner for medications.
Exactly.
Like I'm gonna help you, financially plan your medication
Never
costs.
thought of it that way, but that'll be my new tagline.
Yeah,
Instead
exactly.
of telling people I'm a drug dealer, I'll tell them I'm a financial planner. Not sure which one will scare them most.
Right. Oh, it's too funny. That's awesome. Are there other, I guess, outside of like saving people money on different prescription medications, are there other things that you guys offer, or other types of medications or alternative medications that you guys provide or offer at Discount Med Direct?
Well, I'm just going to go back to the medication side for a minute,
Yeah.
because there are some medications that are no longer available here in the United States.
Sure.
That we can get from other countries.
Okay,
So one
interesting.
of them is a stomach medication called Motilium or domperidone.
Okay.
It's for gastroparesis,
Okay.
and it's not available in the United States anymore.
Interesting. So is this like people that had this medication previously and then it got discontinued, or is on back order, or what would be the reason why?
It's just been pulled by the FDA.
Okay.
So it's no longer available. Its active ingredients are no longer available. So you just can't get it in the United States anymore.
Gotcha.
We can get it out of the United Kingdom.
Okay.
So some of it, it's people that have been on this medication and
Like their whole life. Yeah.
or for years.
Yeah.
Other times it's somebody new, and for the people that it works for, it's pretty much the only medication that works.
Gotcha. Wow.
So,
Wow. So for them, I mean, this is very important.
Yeah. So we do a lot of that. That's usually number 3 every month.
Gotcha.
And then there's another one that's for gout that you can't get anymore in the United States that we do occasionally. So something like that, where somebody maybe had something that they took for a few years and now they can't get it.
Right.
Give us a call, because we might be able to get that for someone else too.
Gotcha.
Or from somewhere else.
Sure. That's great. That's a great point. I mean, that's what's so cool about what it is that you do, is the fact that you can help people out with all these different scenarios, and whether it's saving them money or like whether it's helping them get a prescription that maybe they can't get anymore, like a CVS that they've been on and they kind of almost rely on. So it is kind of cool that you're able to help really kind of solve this need that is probably very like a big pain point for a lot of people. What would you say is your like average? I mean, I know your most popular pill, but like, but maybe outside of the happy pill, like what's like your, I guess, other most popular like medications, or the reason Like, is it, you know, is there any like, I'm trying to think, Parkinson's disease? I know Parkinson's disease medication can be expensive, but is it that one of them that might be popular for people, or?
We do some Parkinson's medications. We can get like the Aricept and the Ropinirole and some of those. Most of those are usually pretty well covered by the insurance.
Okay.
We do have like one lady that I know, she has to have the brand for some reason.
Right.
Well, the generic doesn't agree with her. Well, her insurance won't cover the brand.
Gotcha.
They'll
Okay.
cover the generic, but they won't cover the brand.
Gotcha.
So something like that, where if you have to have a brand due to some sort of a reaction or something. Synthroid is another one. It's a thyroid medication, and a lot of people need the brand.
Sure.
But the insurances don't want to cover the brand. So
Right,
we
right.
can get the brand. It's pretty inexpensive. I just had a lady this morning that I was talking to about Synthroid because she went to get it first of the year, went up to $170
Wow.
for a month.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's like, it's like, but what causes that?
It's just the insurance. It's
Yeah.
the insurance. They change their formularies every
Okay,
year.
gotcha.
and-
So actually, so sometimes the medication might cost, or the medication itself might be the same, but so if the medication cost is the same, but the insurance might change what they pay or reimburse for that type of medicine.
Yep.
Right? Wow.
Yep. That's why that people should, especially in
Yeah.
Medicare, should be looking at their plans every year and seeing if their medications are going to stay in the right level. Because there's like 5 levels, and
Crazy.
we need a Medicare specialist to
Right, to
explain
dive
all
into
of
that.
that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, if you need a Medicare specialist, let one of us know. We know people
Yeah.
that can help you with that know all the details. I have a basic knowledge, and
Right.
beyond that, I'm like, call this person.
Right, exactly. No, I hear you. That's good though. So I didn't mean to get off track, but it is, I guess, kind of like, you know, for those that might, you know, especially like now with this kind of holistic movement, for those that might like be trying to like say, hey, what are my alternatives outside of just traditional prescription medications? Like, you know, are there some areas that you've kind of delved into in that way, or?
Yeah, we have. Partially because there was a couple of us that worked for the company, myself being one, and one of our other girls up in our Sarasota office, had an interest in CBD products. My dad had Parkinson's, and I had read some stuff that CBD was good for Parkinson's, so I wanted to try it, and I went out to one of the local vape shops, smoke shop kind of places, and bought him a bottle, and it seemed to be helping. So then as the other girl and I kind of talked about it, we started looking into it, and she tried, I think she probably tried 40 different kinds before we finally settled on a couple that we were going to bring in. And then we've just expanded on that over the last year and a half or so.
And so like, what was the primary focus, you think, for like was there a certain reason that you guys had tried to experiment with different alternatives, or was there a certain?
Well, for me, it was my initial interest was for my dad for
Gotcha.
Parkinson's, because
But like, I guess what did that particular medication, or is it CBD, I'm guessing, or?
Yeah,
Okay. So then what does that help him with? Is it calm his nerves, is it anxiety? Like, what's the reasoning behind it, maybe?
well, yeah, it's CBD is basically a neural calmer. So
Okay.
it gets into your system, helps put your body back into homeostasis, helps calm down your nervous system. I can't say it cures anything or fixes anything, but it will help to calm down the nerves, which then can help reduce pain. It can reduce inflammation.
Sure.
For my dad, I could almost watch it wash through his body when he was
Wow.
getting anxious or
Yeah.
agitated. I'd give him a dose, and it would just kind of wash through his body and just calm him completely down.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially someone with Parkinson's disease, you know?
Yeah.
So-
And as he got towards the end of his disease or the end of his life, he got more agitated more regularly. So it was really a big savior for us to be able to give that to him. And he got so that I would put the dropper in his mouth and he would like suck every bit of it out.
Wow.
And I think he probably had some little arthritis pains and things that he couldn't tell us about. So when he got that taste, he knew that was going to make him feel better.
Sure. Wow.
And help him relax. So he would get in and just drink it up and
Right. So what made you guys, I guess, what made you decide on a certain brand, or how did you how did you like decide, okay, this is what we're going to roll out in our stores, or this is, you know, like these are the different symptoms that we're trying to help people with, and then these are the different, maybe, you know, CBD products that we want to roll out.
Well, the other girl that kind of she's now our wholesale buyer, she had a lot of health issues herself. She had a lot of issues with like fibromyalgia and rheumatoid arthritis. She has now had a hip replacement and a knee replacement. So she had a lot of pain herself. So she was kind of the guinea pig. She
Gotcha.
was the one that had all the things that she's like, how do I fix this? And,
Right.
and kind of was getting tired of pain medicines and things like that, wanted to get something more holistic, better for her body. So she was the guinea pig. And then, you know, a few of us tried a few things
Right.
once she liked them.
Right.
I don't have a lot of issues, so I try it. I'm like, yeah, I feel the same.
Right.
But then I did do an experiment myself because one of my reps was like, "Have you tried it?" And I'm like, "Well, I tasted it. I know what it tastes like." You know.
Yeah.
He said, "Well, try it for a couple days." So I did like 4 doses.
Right.
And the second afternoon, I was driving, and I'm like, "Wow, I feel really good today." You know,
Yeah.
like, what did I do? What did I do
Right,
different?
right,
Why do
right,
I feel so much different than I did yesterday?
Sure,
You know.
sure.
And the only thing I had changed was I had taken the CBD for 4
Gotcha.
doses.
Huh.
So, you know, even people who are consider themselves pretty healthy,
Right.
it can just take away all those little things that you don't think, you know,
Right,
like
right.
you get a sore thumb or your fingers are sore from
Sure.
typing or working, and you don't think it's not bad enough that you want to take a pain reliever
Right,
for it.
right.
But it's just,
Just like a little like,
Yeah.
uncomfortable feeling there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was funny because I mean there was a, you know, when I was actually there was a point in time where I was kind of researching it. So like I was trying to understand like, okay, you know, they've talked about this thing being in our system, and so then I started understanding that our bodies had these cannabinoid systems
Yep.
in them, and I started understanding like what they actually had control over, what they affected, and it was just like, wow, like it's amazing how. Like, you know, we're so interconnected to all this stuff, you know, like, you know, because at first I think there's like this bad connotation or people that maybe are unaware.
Yep.
They're, you know, maybe just mixing CBD with just like weed. And it's like
Well-
these two total, it's like, it is very different. And it's like taking the time to understand like what are the differences, you know?
well, and a lot of people are worried about the high, or they've, you know, they had tried marijuana back in college or, you know,
Right.
when they were younger and didn't like the way it made them feel. And that's what we hear a lot is people are like, I don't want to get high. I don't like that feeling. I don't
Right.
want that, you know, and I'm like, ours doesn't do that. You know,
It's not the THC, it's
yeah.
the CBD,
right.
you know, which is
The THC is the psychoactive part. It's the part that gives you the high.
Right.
Ours is all very low or has 0 of that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make you high. It
right.
doesn't.
Totally different experience.
Yeah, it's just much more of a calming effect, and
Right.
just
It almost has like way more health benefits than it has any sort of psychoactive benefits.
yeah,
So,
it helps your body to be able to heal itself.
Sure.
It works with your nervous system, and I mean you have endocannabinoid receptors throughout your whole body.
Right.
And then we have topicals, so if somebody didn't want to take it internally, you can,
Sure.
you know, you got a bad knee, we can rub some cream on there and it'll stop hurting.
And so what's the like because I think I remember someone I know that had, you know, it was like they're having pain in their wrist or maybe you know, it was like some inflammation or so there was something going on, and maybe it was arthritis, maybe, I'm not sure, but they used like a CBD cream and then all, you know, that seemed to be kind of like a really good solution for them. I guess, you know, is that something that is common or you've seen or?
Yeah, we have a line of creams, which is actually one of the first products that we got in.
Okay.
And I mean, it's amazing. I mean, you put that on there and the pain's gone. It's just, you know, I'll get a stiff neck or, you know, from holding the phone
Sure.
or something, and I'll rub some of that on there, and it just loosens up all those muscles.
Really?
And
Wow.
relaxes them.
Yeah, that's amazing.
We'll be at an event and we'll see, you know, some guys come limping up with their wives, and she's like, I want him to have this. And he's like, no. And we're like, here, just try some. Just
Right.
put some on your knee, you know, and we'll give him a little bit to rub on his knee.
Right.
They almost always come back.
Right.
They're like,
right.
I need that.
I need that stuff. Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious.
Give me a gallon. You
Right.
know? We don't sell gallons, sorry.
So then, what would you say? What is it that actually causes the pain to go away, or like when you rub this onto someone in their, you know, in an area that they might have pain or they might feel tension, like what actually is causing the relief of that?
Well, this particular product, the one that we recommend the most, we have a couple of different kinds, but the main one that we recommend, it starts out with an icy hot type feel. So everyone's experienced an icy hot or a
Sure.
mentholatum type, menthol camphor relaxation. But then the CBD gets in there and helps the nerve part of
Gotcha.
it. So it gets in there and kind of relaxes that nerve and kind of
So,
quiets
so,
it down.
so it almost sounds like it's maybe more of like a more holistic or more organic type of you know, like lotion or cream as opposed to like an icy hot, which might have a bunch of chemicals in it. or
Yeah,
something.
actually, the one that we have, it's like beeswax and menthol and
Yeah.
camphor and peppermint oil, and there's nothing in it. There's not one thing that doesn't come out of nature. You know,
Right.
it's like all natural ingredients, and we didn't even get it specifically for that. But as I looked at the ingredients, I'm like, they're like you could eat this almost.
Right,
You know?
yeah, exactly.
Like,
You know, and it's
I don't recommend it, but you probably could. Yeah.
Right. But you know what's crazy is like the other day I was about to we had peanut butter in our house, and I was like gonna make a smoothie and add some peanut butter protein to it, and when I looked at this, you know, peanut butter protein, like, and I looked at the ingredients, it was like a list of like 4 things. I'm like it shouldn't just, it's just peanut butter. Like, why is there all these like chemicals in it, you know? And sure enough, I like after kind of like looking at the organic one, I'm like, the organic one literally says peanuts.
Yeah.
Like it's like, and the other one says like all these like stuff. And, yeah,
Dextrose
and I'm like, what? Like why? Like why can't it just be peanuts? Like, I
Yeah.
don't understand. It's like why does everything have to have all these additives to it? So I'm sure it's like reassuring to know that these things don't have that. But
Yeah, and even like if you wanted to take internally, it's basically the CBD products are hemp extract, which is
Right.
the CBD, some kind of a carrier oil, whether it's MCT, which is a coconut oil, or an olive oil.
Sure.
And a little bit, some of them have a little bit of flavoring, vanilla, peppermint, something like that, and a little bit of stevia. So
Gotcha.
there's,
yeah. So it's basically all organic type stuff.
and
Yeah.
they only put the stevia and the flavor in because otherwise it tastes like grass.
Right. Right.
So if you don't mind grass, you can probably get some straight up
Yeah.
hemp oil, but it's
Yeah.
going to be a lot more expensive. But yeah, they put just a little bit of stuff in to kind of smooth the taste out a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it does kind of taste like grass.
Gotcha. So, I guess if someone were to contact you or want to get a hold of you, like, what's the best way for them to find you or learn more about what you do?
Well, we are right here in Port Charlotte
Okay.
at 2414 Tamiami Trail,
Okay.
Unit 1. We're right between the Callis German Butcher and the Wholesale Carpet and Tile Store, just north of Midway. Most people know where the Callis German Butcher is.
Yeah.
Our phone number there is 941-421-7155. We do also have a store in Cape Coral, which is 229 Del Prado Boulevard North, Unit 9. The phone number there is 239-677-3559. We do also have a store in Ellington and Sarasota. If you want those, if somebody's up that way and
Sure.
want those, just give us a call. We'll give you their phone numbers and addresses.
And then, is there someone there to like walk you through the different products when it comes to the like all the kind of CBD products, or the alternative medicine stuff, or even just trying to figure out like doing like kind of a cost analysis, like other folks that are at each store that can kind of help people with those things?
Yes,
or?
we have somebody at both locations or all of our locations at all times.
Okay,
10 to
gotcha.
5, Monday through Friday. There's always somebody there. So if
Sure.
I'm not there, somebody else is.
Right.
So Betsy's in Port Charlotte right now, and Veronica's down in Cape Coral. And so,
Okay, fantastic. So they can educate people on those different products.
Yep,
yeah.
they're all very knowledgeable, and they've tried all the stuff. And
And I'm sure if you're at a trade show, then they'll find you.
yeah, usually I'm at the shows, although sometimes I'm not. We do
Gotcha.
we do a farmer's market in Cape Coral, and I don't make that one very
Okay.
often, but I do have a couple of people that do that one for me that know what they're talking about
Sure.
too. So,
Yeah.
in fact, one of our cannabis experts usually does the market over there. He's not only an expert in our CBD products, but he's also a medical marijuana card holder, so he knows both sides.
Sure.
So he can answer questions on both sides for people.
That's fantastic. That's awesome. And anything else you want to share, or cover with us, or?
No, I think we did a really good job. I think we got everything.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad to have you here. I feel like it was our first real guest. Ever since we've had this studio, we've had, I think, some of our own team on and kind of experimenting with it and stuff. So our first real non-Chelsea Place, non-Senior Source guest. So I'm glad you're here.
I mean, we've been friends for a while
I
now.
know.
We did
It's
the radio show together.
It's about time. I know. See, we're naturals now, you know? Yeah. No,
I feel like you should have known all this, but I
yeah,
don't know that you
well,
did.
I did. I had to play dumb, for the sake of our lovely viewers out there, So thank you guys for joining us today, and I appreciate you for all that you do and all your support, and look forward to this conference and being able to work together on this with you, and I appreciate you.
Yeah.
You're supporting us in it, and I think it's going to be a great thing for people. Just like things like this, like it's like when it comes to planning, the future, when you're thinking about, okay, I got to take care of my mom and my dad or my spouse, and we're thinking about assisted living, or we're thinking about home care, and like medication costs can eat right into these other things.
Exactly.
So it's like it really is important to kind of take a holistic view of, okay, how can I control my medication costs? If I can control that might be money that I can use to put in to the home care, or this other thing,
or going to the daycare.
yeah, exactly. I could use the daycare to save money. And so there's all these things that like this event itself will just help people understand like what is available to them, so they can make the right decision for themselves and their loved ones. So
yeah, I had a lady in the other day that I was giving your information to, because she came in and she was looking for some prices and stuff, and actually I think she was looking for CBD, and
Right.
and she was taking care of her husband, and I could just tell she was getting to
Yeah.
that crisis
Yep,
point,
yep.
and I'm like, here, take this pass and take this.
Right, exactly. I know. Load them.
Take
I know.
all this
It's
and
funny
look at it,
when you see someone that like is like suffering, and they're caring for their spouse or their loved one. It's like you can almost sense it.
Yeah.
Like we were at a health fair yesterday, and you had like all these people coming by, and like the very independent, stubborn folks from Canada that are down here, and they're just snowbirds. Are like, oh no, we're fine. And then you have like this like lady that comes by, and you could just tell she's like she needs help. Like
Yeah.
you could tell like she's caring for her husband, and like she's just like exhausted, and like all of a sudden, you know, like everyone else like didn't want to hear anything about what you do, and then this lovely lady, like all she wants to do is like hug you, you know, because she's like, finally my saving grace, you know. But,
well, and that was this lady. She's like, I'm like, you should take your husband over to the daycare, drop him off. She's like, no, he wouldn't go there. I'm like, you might be surprised if you could get him there once. You might be surprised. I said, but they have home care too. You can always try that, you know.
Exactly.
She's like, yeah, I just need to get out. I'm like, call these people.
Right, exactly. I know. It's awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Take all this stuff.
I appreciate that. Well, if you guys, you know, obviously go and visit Suzanne at either of her locations in Port Charlotte or Cape Coral. Of course, if you haven't already, make sure you register for our event, seniorsource.com, and you can register online, and she'll be there as well, and she'll have a table there. She can help answer any questions you guys might have about medications, and you probably answer any questions about the CBD products and other alternatives, things that they have. So definitely a great event and a great resource, you know, and stuff, and also to be able to learn a lot more about this, all the different things that kind of go into this whole spectrum of you know, getting older and aging and planning out the, you know, the future. So
yeah, and if you're walking around and your knee hurts, stop by. We'll rub a little cream on it for you.
Exactly, it's awesome. And I'm sure she'll have some chocolates and some drinks and some other stuff too. You know?
I don't know. We can't do chocolates right now.
Okay, no chocolates right now.
No more chocolates right now.
Gotcha.
We had to get a hemp food license, and our chocolates did not meet all the requirements. So no chocolates right now.
I see all this complicated stuff, you know. Wow.
We passed our inspection though, so
That's awesome.
Yay!
Yeah, it's fantastic. Well, awesome, good stuff. And then also too, you and Beth have a podcast, right?
We do. Supercharge Your Health.
Okay.
It's all about healthy eating, healthy lifestyle, things that you can do. So you can check out our Facebook page at superchargeyourhealth.com. We're on Spotify. We haven't hit the big ones yet because we don't have enough episodes yet, but
You're getting there though.
yeah, we're getting close. We're getting there.
Yeah. Well, thank you again, Suzanne. I appreciate it. And thank you guys for joining us today. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and we will see you next Thursday. See y'all later. Bye-bye. That's pretty cool. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming. That was